present here. We are extremely pleased to have amongst us a very distinguished industry icon who has graced our event as a guest speaker. We are very delighted to welcome Sri Mrutunjay Mahapatra. I would request Mr. Deepak Mishra to kindly hand over the ticket to him. He is here to share his thoughts on Rock the Words. He is definitely a man of many hats, being an author, public speaker, digital leader, senior banker, and an independent consultant. Sri Mahapatra has a remarkable journey across 30 plus of years, pivoting many institutions to immense success, leading the boards and contributing to thought advisory in many iconic institutions. A senior banker till recently, heading one of the oldest and trusted large banks of India as its MD and CEO, and is credited with all-round transformation of the bank. Member of the Governing Council of RBI, Innovation Hub, and Board of Supervision of NABARD, member of Insurance Advisory Council of India as well. In the past, he headed global strategy, payments, transactions, and transformation programs of SBI as its head of strategy and chief digital officer. Prior to that, he was the CIO of the bank and led IT, data and analytics, innovation of India's largest bank and the SBI. He had long stints abroad in the US and UK. Sri Mahapatra is considered a thought leader, active in public speaking, writing columns in the newspapers and periodicals, working on boards, long distance running and mentoring. A wild enthusiast, we are confident this session with him would definitely become enriched, helping us relate better industry practices and value of DevOps culture in digital transformation. A warm welcome once again, and I now hand over the floor to you.
Is on now. Okay, thank you. Some of you know what is a good introduction. She gave a good introduction. So, what is a good introduction? A good introduction has to sound like an obituary. You know, when somebody dies in the paper, it comes, he was doing so many great things and other things. Anyway, I'm happy to be with all of you. When Deepak asked me that, can I be with all of you, sharing my thoughts? Always I'm eager to be people who are at different levels doing things, because after a while, after one crosses probably your age or a little while, then one goes to the leadership position, and there what happens is that most of the time you are not exactly doing things, but trying to understand and trying to direct. So one of the first lessons of leadership that I have learned in my life, and I am giving to all of you, wherever you are, your life journey has started, all of you are achievers. The fact that you are spending time here, nothing but renewals. And renewing yourself as you do it, always stay glued to the ground. As they say, as your head touches the sky, your feet must firmly be on the ground. So, going in the next few minutes, what we will do is that we will try to understand, because every time, whenever you get into too much, many times we do things intuitively. I don't know how many of you, while driving a car, you think where is the gear now, first gear is appropriate or second gear is appropriate, or now I should blow the horn. I think it comes automatically to us. Similarly, as you go technically into things and you become so involved in it that you start doing things intuitively, many times we lose the bigger picture. Many times we think that whatever we look at the mirror, as they say philosophically, you look at the mirror and you are happy with what you see in the mirror. Because you are putting your life and soul into it. Because you think that you are giving your best. Because you think that you are burning the midnight oil. Because you think that there is nothing more you could have done. It's true that there's nothing more you could have done. But whether there is something different that you could have done, whether there is something else which is missing your radars, and that perspective continuously remaining honed to what is happening around you, to develop all the senses so that nothing escapes you, will differentiate men from the boys. Otherwise, you will every day, Dale Carnegie once in his book he has written that two persons were due for promotion. One was promoted, another was not promoted. So whoever was not promoted went to the boss with all the grievances. See, the other person is like me. He had 10 years experience. I also have 10 years experience. Why did you promote him and not me? So the boss told something which all of us must keep in mind all the time, which is that you have 1 year experience repeated 10 times. He has 10 years of experience. Every year, every opportunity, whether we are missing the big picture, whether we are working to something, because in life, remember one thing also. We always speak of method behind madness. Whether there is madness behind method? Of course there is. Without that passion, without that madness, where are we? Nowhere. If everything we do to a method, everything we do to a plan, then world will be such a boring place. So what I'll do is that in the next few minutes, I will take you through what is happening in the banking sector. How many of you are in through banks? Okay. And how many of you are in other financial sector? Broking. There are some central bankers also. Some of you from RBI also. Okay. RBI also I am deeply involved at various levels. So we'll see what exactly is going on. We'll try to, because DevOps culture is the theme of this conclave or this workshop. We'll try to bring you back also to DevOps. But the whole idea is to provide you a bigger picture. Is there something or somebody will help me? Can you take it to the next one, please? Yeah, next. So the first thing is that this volatile, uncertain, complex architecture that we are looking at or we are thinking of, what will happen is that There is no discipline like that. You will start from the shallow end of the pool. Straight away you will be pushed to the deep end of the pool. The flip side is that you do not know how to swim. So you start waving your hands and legs. If you stay afloat, you will emerge stronger, otherwise you will drop. Now what is happening today is that this uncontrollable scale that is coming. So many times at your level, or because I have seen this happening over a period of time. Initially, we used to think that there is undue pressure from the top. But when I went to the top, I knew that this is because I am also pressurized. The environment will be such that large and uncontrollable nature of the ecosystem will be a constant. Large scale, first time right will be a default. It will no more be a choice. Choice will be small, minuscule, bite size, all these will be choices. First delivery will have to be big. So first remember, if you are going to develop a thing, if you are going to look at a solution, scale at default. Second thing, speed. My dad used to tell that slow and steady wins the race. Probably there is a little bit change today. Fast and steady wins the race. It is not slow at the cost of steadiness. Life also has moved towards that. You must run to stay at the same place. Second, next thing, fluctuations. I always say that there will be nothing called NTP. In our high school science classes, we used to listen. Oxygen at normal temperature and pressure behaves like this. No normal temperature and pressure. BFSI sector today is in such a situation, rapid fluctuation will be the norm, and one thing will lead to the other. Risk management, for example. You do not know, you do not have the luxury that things, if you wait it out enough, things will sort themselves out. No. Thanks to social media, thanks to cloud, thanks to 24/7 news, thanks to connectedness of the system, before you know, things should have multiplied. Cascading effect. Next is that, can you analyze the past to predict the future? Maybe, but not accurately. Not 100%. So as we do, I think many of you must be students of statistics. In Monte Carlo simulation, computer generates numbers. When you are doing investments, you do risk management. Risk management, random number generation. So when you go for that, why, without any rhyme and reason, things are coming. Many times, computers, algorithms, solutions have to, they say, self-adjusting, self-correcting. as I call it, that is the core of machine learning. Why that is there is because scenario analysis, as we used to know in the past, are unlikely to work in future. I can go on and on. You can probably relate. The main thing again, the leadership lesson, because I teach leadership to very senior leaders. Reflection is very important. It is very important, productive to remain productive. You have broken the code of being productive, doesn't mean that you will remain productive forever. We will see the importance of productivity also. Next. So, there are forces. I have given some hints where business as usual today is not business as usual tomorrow. Things keep on shifting. And because of this, every time the impactors of business, the way business is conducted, the way business is orchestrated, the way business is delivered, the way the feedback comes from the user ecosystem to the deliverer ecosystem will undergo a change. And that is why we are looking at things which are called agile. Because we must learn that in 20 minutes, whatever was true now is likely to be different, likely to fail. And that is why what we are coming to DevOps and Agile, we'll look at it. And of course, there could be external factors. I'm not dealing in a great deal because many of you will quickly relate to it. There's no point explaining at great length to intelligent people like yourselves. So again, coming back, things will be very volatile, uncertain, very complex, and at the same time, these volatility will be accentuated because of the factors that are sometimes from within the organization, sometimes is external, sometimes is given by God. All three will conspire to do it. Next. So, let's come to our banks. 500-700 years back, some wise men with grey hair assembled in a big hall somewhere in Israel, or some Israelis in some big Manhattan towers got together and said that this is called banking. You have surplus money, give it to me. I will keep the money for you. But if I keep the money, what I will do with the money? There are some other people who need the money, so I will loan them the money. Taking deposits to give loans. Basic function of banking. That is where the bank started. But, you are there taking deposit, taking loans, you are there everywhere collecting this function. Why don't you take my money from X place to Y place and for a small payment? Remittances. You are there, nice building, you are nice pinstriped suit wearing kind of a person, you look very reliable, you look very handsome. So, you also keep some of my valuables with you. Safekeeping. I am seeing you for every day in the morning. You are dealing with a lot of money. You are taking money from X to Y. You know how to assess a person before giving me a loan. Give me some advice also regarding my money. Advice. So, from a basic deposit taking and loan providing institution came the other things like remittances, like safekeeping, like advising. And that constituted, till about 20, 30 years back, the basic functions of banking. Now, after that, what happened? After that, brick struck the solar plexus. Suddenly, there were disruptors. Bankers were intermediators of money. But people like you came up and told that we can disintermediate experience. It's not necessary that you need to go to a bank and whatever he provides, whatever he tells you is good for you, you will have to take. You can have your own experience. You want banking while driving in the car, you want banking while in a retail store, you want to do it while you are in an airport lobby, even if you want to do it while you are in the toilet. First, disruption. Second, I remember when we were designing YONO in SBI, we were doing journey mapping. Take the case of a housing loan or a home loan, as we call it. Even today, probably many people believe that a home loan meaning A, how much loan I will get for a 100 rupees house. Second, at what interest rate I will get. If we get these two right, X and Y variable right, then Z variable, which is the loan amount of loan or growth variable, I will get it right. Wrong, totally wrong. We got perplexed in SBI that why even after giving 5 to 8% less than us in SBI, why after charging 0.5 to 0.75% more than us, why some of the private housing loan companies and HDFCs are growing better than us. Then we started doing workshops with these charts. We used to call them garages. We used to call them Lotus Garage. And there we discovered that a home loan journey starts much earlier. Where exactly I want to buy a house? What is the demography of that area? Is it an area in which professionals like me reside? Does that area has hospitals, old age homes, creches, walking tracks? These are the places for shortlisting. If you provide a few data points, and if I am on SBI's platform, or if I am in RBL platform, or if I am in XYG's platform, I don't want to switch platforms. I want to catch an express, I want to catch an air-conditioned car or whatever from the same platform. Can I go and have a look at what is the area? So can I provide either on my own or with a partner ecosystem an experience where the customer journey is known to me? And later on, of course, to cut a long story short, we brought in, some of the things which are like, who is a packer and mover, who is an interior decorator. Even there was a demand, and for some time we thought of bringing it, but later on there was a pushback. Vastu consultants. So a customer journey, unless it is provided, it is likely that it will be disintermediated. Whatever value proposition you have, people are willing to take a haircut on that value proposition if they get a better value proposition elsewhere. If I get a lobby-like experience, if I get, beautiful reception, 0.5% on 1 lakh is what? 50 rupees or maybe 500 rupees a year. So on 20 lakh rupees or 50 lakh rupees, it works out to something which is affordable to me. I want to pay that because I am getting back that value. So all these things, in other words, and incoming of platforms where through mutualization of cost, value got delivered, gradually started becoming federated. And unless you give appropriate technology, banks will continue to remain trust holders, and banks will have to deal with identity, information, and experience. Rest, whatever is there in the middle, whatever was there on the left, could be provided by the banks themselves, but customers will be spoiled for choices. Doesn't matter who takes my money coming from home as long as it lands at some place, and the backward and the engineering at the back end is not my concern. So remember one thing, as the volatility in the ecosystem came, survival instinct prevailed, and this survival led to bringing the bare metal of banking to the threshold of discovery that the basics will remain identity, experience, and what I call information. Data and information, of course, data plus whatever wisdom and whatever visualization, you will have to take data from the information. So look at what we are dealing. As a result, bankers will become risk managers and orchestrators of experience. Platforms of people, you help people to connect with their audience or connect with their stakeholders. You provide the technology, as they say, very euphemistically, that YouTube doesn't write a single line of content. Everything is of third parties. So how do we do that? Now, what we have to do in the financial sector is that competency of the digital. Again, one thing I have been trying at the leadership level that all of you must also understand. Many times you will get the noise that I am not from IT background. I used to tell the general managers and EDs when I was heading a bank that look, when my father initially, before going to administration, for a few days he was working in police. Those days, you laugh at it at this day. All police motorcycles had a driver. The officer used to ride on the pillion, so he has to go somewhere, he will not drive his own bike. There will be a police driver for every bike, and he will sit at the back. Today everybody will laugh, what nonsense is this? The same thing, IT familiarity is no more a luxury or a domain of the IT people, but it is a survival skill. If we have to deal with identity, information, and experience, we will have to be digital at the core. Branches will change, and customer journeys and context I have told, because I again remember one of my friends was a secretary to Government of India. twist it here. So, one of my friends, he was secretary to Government of India. One day he called me, told Mrutunjay, your internet banking is a useless internet banking. I was very proud, State Bank of India, as you know, is very large internet banking. State Bank of India has 45 crore customers, out of which some 11 crores used to have internet banking. Hugely popular. Why? He told, for 10 years I'm using your internet banking. And I have used only for inquiring my balance and sending money to my son. So why on your landing page you are putting 30 different images? You know about my behavior. I'm banking with you. So he was giving me first lessons of individualization. Customers will want that I'm not interested in knowing your DMAT service. I'm not interested in doing this. If necessary, I'll dig into it. I want these two semi-cooked should have been presented to me on a platter. So we want that customer journey and the context. Both are critical foundations of individualization. Every time you do a solution, what is the context? And what is the other survival skill that there must be continuous improvement? We'll come to that next. Still, I think this is bothering you. So, without mind. Okay. So, I have explained that seamless, supported, and smooth. This is the essence. And we and the IT people come at the first two to ensure the third. IT, how it started, IT wanted to make life simple. IT was initially, you can go to the next one, yeah. So these are the tools which we will require to go there. And this is based on my, decades of experience at the top level. And of course, those days, how many of you have worked in a rural branch? Even in the bankers, all of you are IT guys. So those were invaluable. When we joined as probationary officers in State Bank of India, some 40 years back, it was mandatory to have rural experience. Because many times what happens that why the technology guys are unable to sell themselves is that the business people will play the trump card. You are IT guys. You don't know. And I was telling Deepak about my journey into IT. I was posted in London, doing all the big high-tech, high funda stuff like investment, duration analysis, treasury, raising money for the bank, raising money for IOCL and all. Then I came back and I became the head of the international operations of SBI. All the foreign offices were reporting. One day the chairman called me and told that you must go to IT and set up IT. So I went there. The basic thing that I observed is that, what is lacking is that these IT people are brilliant people. Very high on gray matter, very intelligent, but that knowledge of the business, what the business wants, which you are doing it, part of it you are doing in DevOps. DevOps should not limit itself in terms of just looking at IT operation. Typically, IT operations should also have people from business domain. And development in an agile method, of course, there's a waterfall method in which you get the business requirement document, you prepare a solution document, it is approved and it goes to development, goes to system integration testing, user application testing, and production, pre-prod, etc., etc., etc. But the whole idea is to get connected with business. And for that, you have to understand that it moves between removing friction, which is identifying the failures of channels and touch points continuously, then goes to what I call every organization stands on 4 legs: people, process, technology, and governance. Which one? Technology is one of the critical. But when I'm now chairman of a advisory board of a digital advisory board of a large bank, see, the moment there is a shift, how do we see it as a window of changing the processes? Whether the IT wing can help in changing those processes, that is equally important. And of course, crowdsourcing and customer engagement. I did an experiment in SBI, which became very popular, that, I had some 25,000 people. So, I thought that today the trend that many of the employees, especially the elder employees, their children are in the field of software and hardware. So I told that whenever they come, wherever they are working, I'll take them as crowdsourcing kind of a mass. I'll pay them some money. They will come and give ideas regarding where the software design should go, how DevOps could be a little better, how we can have agile practices, what is user experience with them. So we will have to continuously find ways of getting into new innovations, removing friction, marketing, people, process, technology, governance, alignment, crowdsourcing. That is the wisdom of there is a famous book, if you read it, it's called Wisdom of Crowds. Wisdom of Crowds. There's a famous example that is given in the first chapter of this book. In Spain, a bull got killed in the bullfight. So, the flesh of the bull generally, which is killed, is eaten by the masses. So it is to be distributed. Now there is no scale how it is to be distributed. So immediately, the 50 people who are gathered or 75 people who are gathered were asked what will be the weight of the bull. They gave a number. And trust me, the average of that number was very close to the actual weight. The collective wisdom of your stakeholders must always be harnessed. Next. So, as we go towards the future, because of these factors, it will be a combination of 3 things. Experience is the driver of everything. Digital enterprise is not just enough by putting digital artifacts and digital tools and digital methods and digital people. Ultimately, it is to be, an intelligent digital enterprise. And third thing is that the digital core, which is the infra, the partner, that also should work. So I'll leave this presentation. You can have a look at it. This slide I'm using in many of my presentations, and this is the essence. Things have not changed. This I designed, this I did, orchestrated some 18 months back. Part of my long interaction with Gartner and people like that. That these are the right hand side are the basic things over which things will be there, and left hand side is where banks would like to be, and many of these things we need to orchestrate. Next. So some of the things that will be right, some of the things that I have already told. Initially, computerization came to the banking sector because ledgers were manually posted, reconciliation was being done manually, remittances were being provided in a manual manner. So there is loss of accuracy, there is loss of time, and there is loss of record. To solve these three problems, computerization was introduced. If you look at the core of whatever we are doing today, this has not lost its relevance. We may talk of experience, but at the end of it, experience of the employees is also equally important. One day I called TCS and told them that how many steps your software takes for opening a normal bank account. She told 15 steps. I told I want it done in 3 steps. Just 3 clicks. Again, there is a famous book written by the chief of HCL. It's called Employees First, Customers Second. Employees are important brokers. We talk of lot of customer experience. What about employee experience? Are they happy with our software? Can she take comfort that yes, this work can be done reliably within 10 minutes time or 15 minutes time? Or the software is a drudgery, software is a pain on the wrong side of the body. So we will have to think about those experiences. Next. Of course, trust remains the important thing. Bank failures are always a systemic shock. So security, trust, and as I told you, because they are trusted, so bankers should be trusted with identity, information, and experience. Experience can vary, but identity and information will continue to be in the hands of the bank. Next. So what the banks have to do? Next. These 7 problems I have defined as the core problems which the banks have to solve. Customer experience I have told, productivity I have told, total risk management I have told, intelligent enterprise I told, architecture, because many times technology debt. So we have something. It is like, you go to the furniture shop, you like the furniture, but you feel that, oh, I have a house, my room size is this. I can't take this. Or my room is already painted an orange shade. How do I do it? So many times architecture, legacy, and the ability to fit new things will determine how we go forward. Of course, communication, you are in DevOps, communication was one of the key. And next. This is a laundry list of what are the technology things. I'm not going to deal with it. You know more than I do. But from my experience, I have put into three buckets. One is growth accelerating, another is transformation accelerating, and third is trust accelerating. These are the things any enterprise, whether it is a regulator, whether it is a commercial bank, whether it is a broker. Whenever you are bringing things, you will have to look at all these things, that everything is important, not one either or. So I've given a list, you can look at it, and whenever you are doing, whether, for example, your organization is on the growth path, it may not be very important to look at, very decision intelligence, hyper automation, etc. But surely you require total experience. You like distributed computing. Look at this and you will be able to find out next. So, what is the writing on the wall? I told right at the beginning, scale at default. Nothing like, many times startups come to me. I mentor a lot of startups. I am also on the board of a few startups. Many times they walk up to me and say, sir, we have done this brilliant idea. I told you right also at the beginning that many of you are very, very super intelligent people. But the problem is, unless it is done as a serious act, with all imaginable situation, there will be problems. Second is that I again remember from my own life, when the first wave of computerization came in SBI, after that the second wave, that is full branch computerization, first came as a back office and middle office computerization. That was when we were young officers. We were told that reconciliation can happen. We were used to the world where reconciliation used to be an area. We used to provide employees incentives to sit down and jot down the balances and use calculators, facet machines to total up and do the totaling, and that was it. From that, next wave came 15 years. After that, core banking came in 5-7 years. Then business process reengineering in 2-3 years. Now every year, every month, there are changes. So faster release cycles. If there are faster release cycles, of course, everything has to be fast. And we have to see the reusability. We don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. Wherever code is available, and that's why yesterday I was addressing a large gathering in our hotel. Low code, no code, or things like that, where reusability or platforms which are providing releases at scale, those have to be embraced. And other things are well known. What is likely to be obsolete? Gone are the days when you sent a memo, inter-office memo, and they will say that no, environment is not ready. I used to call them and some CGMs and give them push. Why don't you do it? Why? That cannot be done. Legacy friction, legacy software and hardware debt, and friction from that likely to be obsolete. Upgrades and updates, you cannot decide. It's like morning, you must brush your teeth. Updates and upgrades, like brushing your teeth. Even if there is nothing, you will have to release an update or an upgrade. In other words, it must be made routine, then when necessary. That is another discipline that will keep the leaders ahead. If you want to put your organization ahead, then we have seen the Amazons of the world, which is called platformization of marketplace. Now platformization of technology. Inside large organization also will have to provide platforms for developers to work benches where people can collaborate, bring tools like Zira, where federating the information will have to happen. And complex customization have to be broken down to very simple, understandable, and workable customizations. In other words, you cannot, it's like, you have a big cake, you cannot eat everything. It has to be cut down to pieces. The cake may look very attractive. Its fragrance may be very enticing. It's to be broken down. Same thing will happen because it is obsolete to have complex mega customizations which will boil the ocean. So these are some of the things which at the top level people have started speaking. Writing is clear on the wall that these are the things which are the pain points in organizations. And developers, intelligent people, key employees of the organization such as yourself have to think about these problems which are the use cases. These are the glaring problems. Everything we want an API. And I remember even 4-5 years back, people used to give use codes. Today I go to a startup, he says, sir, API is not that difficult. We will write it down in a matter of hours. Whether we have the capability to do that. And of course, regulatory compliance and directive. So what we want? Technology platforms to develop collaboration. DevOps and DevSecOps such a culture. There is a saying in English which says that culture eats strategy for breakfast. At the end of it, if you are used to, there is a famous saying in famous joke about the army barracks. A group of scientists once went to an army barrack to study how they drink water. They asked the Subedar or the leader of the masses, so how do you prepare water? Yes, we collect it from the highest streams and then we allow it to settle. And then we filter it. Then we put it into bottles. And then we go and drink beer. So if your aim is to drink beer, then obviously, your culture is to drink beer. You may be doing a lot of song and dance, doing all the DevSec, DevOps and Dev, and at the end of it, you'll be doing in the BRB. It's like, the famous joke that used to be in the banking circle that, I also experienced it once. Old records must be destroyed. So I called the old record keeper. What nonsense? Why are you not destroying the old records? These 25-year-old records. They're occupying so much of real estate. He says, sir, I have given it for photocopying, after that I destroy. So, culture sometimes, overrides your general intelligence. So work, and it happens bit by bit. Don't lose hope. So next thing is that, low code regimes, coding should not be heavy. because demand on ecosystem like yours will be so much that all of you cannot be at all places. Then agile is no more a hype, we have to live it, and all these things I keep on telling because I want to change the culture of the banking system. Next. So, I have told the empathy that many times, firefighting in the organization, business versus society. Business thinks they don't know anything, they are just a bunch of techies, they know how to write code, they only know how to, and IT thinks these are stupid people, they have absolutely no idea as how technology works. Just to stop. We must sit, we are not India and Pakistan. Even India and Pakistan have to collaborate probably. When the flood came, there was collaboration. So, we are now, as I told right at the beginning, the tsunami of the uncertainty of the VUCA world. We will have to, and second thing is that, as they say euphemistically, in God we trust, for everything else we need data. So all these fear mongers, bank to बैठ जाएगा ये करने से. What will happen if there is a riot in the street, if ATMs stop dispensing? Now, one fine morning I decided that all the 30,000 ATMs that we have in SBI will also be used for marketing our products. That is, from the central level, we'll push content and it will be displayed on the ATM screens. So there is 20 objections. This will happen. It may not display, it will display 5,000 rupees and 50,000. This graphics we are not sure. We'll test it more. So sometimes, you will have to be, as they say, in a curve where you are taking things upwards. You will have to sometimes be a benevolent dictator. You shouldn't have a hidden agenda. But too much of democracy is also bad. So that aside, what you have to do is that you will have to deal fearmongers with data and decisiveness. What are the use cases? Next important thing is that compliance operation, supervisory technology and regulatory technology. Whenever you are doing these things, please do not lose sight, because many times that is where things will get stuck. They say, "Hathi nikal gaya, doom nikal nahi raha," the tail is not going. Many times, you will be dealing with an elephant in the room, which was a small thing, and because you've not taken care of it right at the beginning, things are going bad. So, next. Speed, development and deployment will trump everything else. I have been enhancing on speed. Now, development deployment is nothing but dev and ops. How we do it, I think you have been doing it. I have given a long list of things which I have observed. Again, I am not going to put a lot of explanation to whatever, but the idea remains that go back to the basic things in order to solve big things. Next. So if you are ready, then be my guest. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your 40 years experience, what you have given to us in the last few minutes, especially how you transformed yourself from a Google branch what we learned here is through the DevOps culture and practice in last 4 days, one day before, delivery culture collaborating between banks. So I'm not sure if this is happening uh, everywhere in India, but probably for me it is the first time seeing a lot of banking technology people sitting in one room and practicing DevOps for 5 days. And that's why we did invite the facilitators from uh, one of the top technology company, IBM Red Hat. And we asked them that, okay, the way they have transformed the culture in their organization, can they transform the banking executives through those best practices? And I'm sure the best practices which you gave us today in your presentation, uh, I'm sure the Red Hat team will incorporate in their content. So with that, I would also like to invite one of my guests, Mr. Prakash Shetty. Prakash is here. He is the director of sales in Red Hat. And I would ask Prakash if it was very
in your website and all. Well,
Ritesh.
Ritesh Rajwala over there, and who was your country at that time?
Yeah. Rajesh Reke.
Reke.
No, I don't need. I think I'm audible. I don't think I need to speak after what we heard from Sir. He's been a role model to a lot of folks in the IT industry, banking, and so on and so forth. Correct. I think I probably, there's no two ways about what he said. It's absolutely, and that's it's a privilege. In fact, I don't think a lot of people get an opportunity to hear Mahapatra sir the way you got, in person. And it's an absolute privilege to hear him out. Whatever he said, and as he rightly said, starting his career from a PO to becoming the DMD CIO of State Bank of India, he has learned the not the technology part as well, the people and process part absolutely brilliant. He nailed it, correct? It takes ages for people to understand that, and he learned, and he's done that and probably embraced very well and probably cascaded to the world. It's absolutely brilliant to hear him. As I keep saying, it's not just the technology that one needs to embrace, and he rightly mentioned that there is no escapism from technology. There is no department in any organization can today say that I want to be away from technology. Technology is for the software engineer, for the tech guys, so on and so forth. No, it's not. Today, everything from your car to your banking to your, everything that you talk about, retail outlets, it's all about driven by technology. Correct? So you cannot escape from that. Today, as someone said, today is the slowest rate of change one could experience, which means in the next 10 years, the kind of work that is going to happen is much more than what happened in the last 15 years or more. So, the only thing that you can do is learn, train yourself, embrace change, embrace technology, and the DevOps practice that's delivered thanks to Deepak and his team in association with Red Hat is absolutely a thing that you should grab in both hands and make sure that you learn. And one more addition that I would do is, as technologists, one important thing that empathize, as Sir said, empathize the domain knowledge people have. If you understand that the guy coming from the business is actually expert in the business side of it, and you're the expert on the technology side of it, you wouldn't know everything that the business guy does. You are good at coding, you're good at doing what you're doing, but you necessarily don't understand the domain the way he understands the domain. So try and learn that aspect, because at the end of the day, what is technology helping each? It's not about just the million lines of code someone writes. It's actually the outcome of those million lines of code. The Paytm that is visible to everyone, or a Uber app that is visible to everyone, there's a beautiful software company behind it, correct? But someone had the vision to make sure that we can connect all the cabs in the world and connect the consumer or a passenger to the cab, or a Paytm where without going to the bank you're able to transact. So that vision is done by a business or a visionary guy or someone. If you can empathize that part of the world and start understanding that aspect of it, you will be far more better than what you're currently. I think that's exactly what DevOps culture is all about. That's what it practices. And as Sir said, the journeys that you talk about, you need to understand how a consumer reaches the product that you're going to sell. That's how, if you can map that journey and how faster can that product reach the consumer, I think things can be much sorted. And rest, as you know your technology domain, you can do the rest of this stuff. So thank you so much. I think keep learning, keep embracing technology. DevOps is the way to go. All the very best. Thank you.
May have some questions for Mr. Mahapatra. So we have got 5 minutes where you can ask any questions from your side. I'm sure that
Yeah, of course.
any questions that understand. Across all the stages of the operation. You mentioned that there is this cycle of snippets, multiple teams for right from requirement gathering to business person brings it on, to moving it to the game and then there's just difference of opinions that the other side does not know what they're doing. So as your experience in SBI or elsewhere, were you able to make a core team which DevOps also recommends to have one team with constituents from all the various parts, and that runs parallelly for all the departments? Because I come from ICICI Bank, and we have tried a lot of things in the past few years. Somewhere or the other, specifically if we talk about this panel, and if we talk about the business part, considering huge departments, it becomes tough in all the projects. Maybe one strategic level project, maybe we should be able to achieve the goals, but otherwise. So how do we
See, my real life experience, I'm not giving you any theoretical examples. 2-3 experiments I did. One is a project management company. Project management, why there is no drawing a Gantt chart, there is no drawing critical chart, no seeing out and why those things not. So I spent some money. Initially, DIY was doing it for me, then later on, he started doing it for me. And I had a 30 people, or 30-40 people, who are people from multidisciplinaries. Second is personal friendship at the top. My friendship, because I got away with a lot of things, my level and my level -1 and my level -2. I encourage them to be personal friends with people in business and people in all other verticals, because that solved a lot of problems. I should have the capability whenever I want to pick up the phone and speak with him, and understanding that he trusts me. Third thing is promoting and providing platforms for socialization. It is important that you cannot be, if you are coming and if you do not know each other, if you have not taken a glass of drink or you have not eaten a meal together, things will unlikely work. So what I promoted many times is that these teams, wherever projects are getting delayed or projects are getting into problem, I used to invite them to a place that time I had a large bungalow, so I had a place, so I used to host a dinner, ask them to mingle the whole evening, and they became friends and they resolved the problems. Many times they came, walked up to me and told, sir, this is the way we can sort it. So, apart from the official metrics that we will have to deliver, we will have to bring some of the tools, some of the disciplines. Of course, in DevOps, you must have to understand the importance of communication. But formal communication has to be combined with informal communication. And I succeeded. At any point in time, there used to be over 500 projects in SPL. And taking them, even writing a business requirement document in a proper format for the waterfall method even, it used to be a big uphill task for the business. Somebody will say, we have sent the business requirement document. What is that business requirement document? It is a 2-line email which will come from somebody junior who will say that in the minutes of the meeting of the governing council, it is decided that IT will provide this. He will say that this is my business requirement document. How to bring that discipline? These are cultural shifts. We will have to be patient. We will have to apply multiple things. Yes, I have been hugely successful, and many times you will have to incentivize people to speak out. Because otherwise everybody will think that if I speak, I will be considered dumb. So, as all of you are in the threshold of leadership, once these cultures are there, then we
with the success of internet banking and mobile banking, now I heard buzz about virtual reality in bank. You share your perspective and information.
We experimented with virtual reality, but right now virtual reality is a cool thing to be spoken in analyst meets. Its business case is not yet fully established. Virtual reality, first thing is that it is data intensive, it is experience intensive, and it is also somewhat technology intensive. So we did a few experiments also in terms of whether somebody can do a simple, whether somebody could do a simple experiment using classes or where but only thing is that it requires a little bit of training for people to go. But I believe that some of these artifacts see what is happening. If you divide the bank's clientele, I used to put them in 4 buckets. The digitally native, who are born, who never knew anything else. Digital migrants like me, who have understood the power of digital and have embraced digital. There are digital fence-sitters who are dabbling with an ATM or they will do an e-payment but nothing beyond that. And there are digitally averse. So amongst them, the maximum amount of wealth is with the digitally averse people. So right now, the bank's technology prescription, because of this division in banks' behavioral analysis of the customer, most of the technology is in an assisted mode. Whereas technologies such as virtual reality are mostly for evolved digital natives, not just initial digital natives, but evolved digital natives. So we'll have to wait it out, but I believe there is a good future. Yeah.
So I wanted to know your thoughts on the UPI framework. We hear a lot about lately news that other countries are also interested to understand
What is that?
UPI.
UPI? What is the question?
So I wanted your thoughts.
UPI framework.
Yes, so I want to know what you think about UPI's future in future.
Globally, how UPI will get?
See, UPI is definitely, we are a market leader in terms of bringing a uniform payment interface. And because I was on the NPCI board for a long time, so I have seen it from, from inside out. It is a work in progress because suddenly what we call the G2C, government to citizen initiatives, are piling up, and UPI as an ecosystem is also getting evolved and is getting benchmarked. So in the coming years, I believe that UPI modularization will happen. It's very important because this is now a single point of failure. If UPI fails, then there's a big risk. So this single point of failure, if it comes to any global stage, to a large country, I don't think it has to be integrated at a virtual level, but at the data level and at the architecture level, there should be multiple things integrating through software and through logic. That has to happen. And third important thing is that competition to UPI. That is also Reserve Bank of India has, informally they have consulted people like us, and that going forward they have brought out a draft circular also, that how payment interfaces can be federated. So these are some of the things which are. Sit down, sit down. Okay, you are in my team? Okay, good. When was that? 16, okay. You joined it, thereafter you went to army. Which department? No, you were in which department in GITC? Acha, okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. So you were in the station building?
Yes.
Yeah.
First question is related to blockchain technology. How do you see blockchain in Indian banking industry as a retail product, which banks offer to customers? The second one is how to become a successful industry leader from being a manager in bank or IT industry.
Okay. So one industry question, one personal question. So first is that blockchain. See, blockchain as of now, the technology is established, but blockchain in closed blocks. What is a blockchain? You must first understand. It's very simple. There is something which goes into different blocks in a hashed format. You are having the algorithm of unhashing. Either if you go into mining of crypto coin, you invest computing power in discovering that unhashing algorithm, and the moment you solve the problem, you earn a cryptocurrency. That is the mine. You mined a cryptocurrency. But in case of closed loop, or what we say that people who are in the need to know and need to use basis, the blockchain usage is picking up. For example, ATM grievance redressal. Currently, it is taking, let us say, 4 days of time. The moment your cash has been, you have inserted your card, and the money has been debited to your account. But for some technical fault, cash couldn't be dispensed in the ATM machine. Now, this information has to be verified by a human being by coming and verifying the reject bin of the ATM, because the ATM is so orchestrated that if you have put the money and if the cash counted and it has come out from different receptacles, 500 rupees, 200 rupees, 100 rupees, and if it didn't go through, it goes and puts it in the reject bin. So in 3-4 days time, when the next cycle comes, the bank official will go verify it and bring it. Now if we can put a small IoT device, which we tried in SBI, and it was successful, and we put it into a closed blockchain, where let us say I am using the Marol Naka ATM, but I am a customer of SBI Belapur. So now SBI Belapur, in order to refund the money to my account, will have to know from the Marol Naka SBI's ATM officer that the money is there in the reject bin. Or I may be there, I am giving only SBI Belapur, I may be anywhere else. So if all the SBI grievance redressal centers or branches are on a block, and this populates into a blockchain and it gets notified to all the blocks, and algorithm is known, then immediately it will be known. So similar use cases are being found. Another use case that we have now recently done in RBI Innovation Hub is that, for Kisan credit card, that is agriculture cash credit loans, generally the rural farmer goes to a branch, and in that branch what they do is that they provide the land records as proof of their cultivating. And generally these land records are kept in banks without creating a mortgage, just to prevent the farmer from going to another branch and taking another finance. Now how do we know? Because it is not getting recorded in the registry, because no mortgage has been created, whereas he has given it. So we have, with IIT Chennai, we are bringing out a blockchain kind of an algorithm where all the people who are providing agricultural loans will be notified that such and such things have been surrendered there. So I am seeing that these closed loop things will gain traction. Federated, common and large infrastructure is likely to take some time, because there will be no agreement between the banks to make it. The second question was that how to become a leader from the manager. See, in my life, what I've seen is that 2-3 things have helped me, again from personal life. One is a constant urge to learn. Many times, like a omnivorous person, you will have to devour knowledge coming from many things. That is, irrespective of whether it is useful, whether it is not useful. When it will be useful, you do not know. So start having a large appetite for knowledge from all sources. That is one thing that has helped me. Second thing that has helped me is that, having no hidden agenda. Managers have an agenda that you do this, if this work gets done, you will get incentivized. But as you become leaders, you will commit mistakes. So first is that you should have no hidden agenda, because you will have to promote a few people, you will have to demote a few people, you will have to be very harsh with a few people. How do you get on with life with these unevenness? Because initially, when I was a young officer, I used to, after firing a particular clerk, I used to feel bad to talk to him for 2 or 3 days, because I used to take it emotionally. So, if you do not have hidden agenda, you will be able to evenly dish out what Ken Blanchard used to call the 1-minute manager. If you see good work, appreciate it for full 1 minute. If you see bad work, fire him mercilessly for 1 full minute. So after that, everything is safe. Third important thing is that you will have to learn and let go of things. And at leadership level, the rate of failure will be so many that you should have a spiritual quotient. That there is an unseen force, there is an unknown force, which many times will lead to illogical things. Everything, you've seen it in the TV, you put this much of cut potatoes, you put this much of cut chicken, you put this much of jeera, this much of hing, why the dish doesn't come out every time equal. So there are some unseen things in life. So today, along with EQ and IQ, SQ is also prescribed, spiritual quotient. that whether so that is why these days, if not for anything, for getting those spiritual vibes, you must get a little spiritual, not necessary to be religious, but spiritual, yes, that you should know. So these are some of the tips, and you, all of you, will find your own tips. There is nothing, people like me will give you what we have experienced.
Now we are moving into the detail age, right? So all the net banking and mobile banking stuff are coming up. But the users which are using it, they are not that much educated. They are not able to understand it. Fraudsters are there who's trying to twin them. Even nowadays, RBI is also saying that SMS is not a fully proved second factor of authentication. So what is the thought process of that? How banks should be, or go for a security so that when the transaction is going from the one account to the other account of the consumer is able to understand and mitigate.
Do well, God bless you. Stay in touch. Okay. Uh, so, your question is that how to ramp up customer buy-in.
Either security customer is not aware that it will get transaction.
No, no, I understand your question. See, it's always, it is likely to be. There are a few path-breaking things which are so. One thing is that what I call uh, intuitive kind of usage, where security you don't have to consciously work for it, but it has to be embedded in the design. Look at the famous example of WhatsApp. How many in WhatsApp, using WhatsApp, even my maid uses WhatsApp. And everybody uses WhatsApp, and it is so, and they say it is end-to-end encrypted. So some of the security has to come into design. That's why the DevSecOps is now the buzzword. That security has to be embedded in the design and development. Second thing is that user experience has to be intuitive for the things to ramp up. It cannot we cannot depend anymore on training, but at the same time, sensitization and other thing, popularization. Even a good company like Bata went down the hill till they went back and told that yes, we are good and this is good. So it is a combination. There is no straightforward answer because at leadership level, all of us are struggling to get it right. That how end users are aware about security, end users are aware about the pitfalls of uh, the downsides of wrong usage, and hackers have the ability to get into the loopholes, and irrespective of any amount of VAPT that we do, it is likely to be hacked. So it's a work in progress. Yeah, done. Anybody else? Okay, good. Thank you.
इंटरनेशनल होगा शायद से इंग्लैंड में जाना पड़ेगा यहाँ जाना होगा